for a house and you find polybutylene piping, do not be afraid. What we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you through the steps of what buyers typically do and what can typically happen if you do find polybutylene piping in your house. Well, what is polybutylene piping? Well, polybutylene piping was put in the late 70s all the way to around the mid 90s. And right around that mid 80s era here in Florida, there's starting to be a lot of complaints. The reason they brought in poly was actually, it was a real cheap alternative to copper piping, and Florida water is historically hard, right? So with polybutylene piping, it has a high breakage rate, and they recalled the piping, but you still find houses here in Central Florida up to about the mid 90s that have poly. Now, we didn't know there was poly in this house until we had an inspector look, and he was able to find and determine that we have poly. So we're gonna have a repipe. It's a pretty easy process if you know what you're doing and you have really good guidance. So let me show you, number one, what does poly look like? So come on back with me. It's not always apparent because people get certain pipes repaired here and there. Then sometimes they don't know, you know? So if you look under this cabinet, how you can kind of visibly tell if it's poly is you've got the gray, see that gray piping that goes into the side sink? That's actually polybutylene piping, it's gray. And if it was done with what they use today, which is either like PVC or PEX piping, it would be like a white pipe. So that's one way to find out. Obviously, when you get a house, you're gonna want to hire an inspector to verify that. So what we're going to do is take you through the process of what happens when you find a house with poly, and then how to get that taken care of. Hey, we're day 2 of the plumbing project here with repipe, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of what it looks like. So they've come by, they've replaced all the piping, they put the permit on the door. We just had the inspector that has just left and approved the work. So one of the things he was checking was the flow of the water, along with just to make sure everything was done right. So this is kind of what they left and what it looks like. And the next guy to come in is going to be the drywall repair guy. And the drywall guy is going to come by, and they're just going to put the drywall back to where it's supposed to be. And from there, we'll be getting the painter. So, by the way, one of the things you might find after you do a repipe is you might hear some funny noises in your plumbing, and that's because there's probably air trapped in some of the pipes because they just put them in and they're all brand new. So, next time I see you, we're going to have the drywall repaired, and then we'll be going through the next steps in the process. So it's day 3 of the repipe, and as you can see, they're already starting to move stuff in. So it really wasn't a big disruption. After the county came in and did the inspection on the piping, everything was fine. He passed the house, and now we had the drywall people come in. So you can't even tell. It's nearly not even detectable. If you remember from the other one, and there was a hole over there as well. So as you can see, very easy. The only thing we need to do now is paint, and it's ready to move in. So coming up with polybutylene piping can wreck a deal. However, we have a lot of experience with working with tons of buyers in these situations, and we can help you work through it. There's tons of ways to do it, and you can get all this done paid by the seller. So contact me to find out why. 407-432-9180. We are your local agents with local expertise, serving the global community.